Nippon Connection, Japanisches Filmfestival.
Online.
Welcome to The Secret of Sound in Cinema with Goro KOYAMA. The lecture itself was pre-recorded, but Goro KOYAMA will be live afterwards to answer your questions. Please use the Ask button underneath the Vimeo chat window to ask your questions. Unfortunately, we cannot answer questions asked on Facebook or YouTube. Now, please enjoy the lecture.
Guten Tag, I think. Hello everyone, konbanwa. My name is Goro KOYAMA. I am a Foley artist. I hope everyone's staying well and safe and healthy at home and watching this. Thank you for tuning in. I am here today to tell you a little bit about my work, which is Foley. It's called Foley. Foley is a process of sound effect recording for movies and TV series where someone like myself, a Foley artist, physically performs each and every sound using our own bodies or a bunch of props or a bunch of shoes and whatever to add a little bit of detail to the sound of movies, to make it a little bit better, to make it a little bit more fun, to make it a little more interesting. So I'm here today to tell you a little bit about Foley. So here we go. This is Secret of Sound in Cinema for Nippon Connection 20. 20, I think. Is that right? 20. Congratulations for 20 years, Nippon Connection. Here you go.
I work at Footstep Studios in beautiful Uxbridge, Ontario, Canada.
This is our Foley stage. This is our recording studio. We just finished the work for the day, so I apologize about the mess. Here you go. It's a big mess in here right now. I'm sorry. Well, I'll take you around. Anyways, this is where the mixers sit. The person who pushes the button to record. And the person who edits. And this is the isolation glass, of course. And more divider. Here we have different kinds of doors on the wall. The big scary door. And different kinds of surfaces. Living room. Kitchen. The kitchen table. Big mess. We're very, very busy today. So again, I apologize about the mess. Stairs. These are all the exterior surfaces. Dirt. Gravel. Big rocks and wooden sticks. And on the dirt surface, these are camouflage leaves, fake leaves for the sound of the leaves. And these are shredded shower curtains. It's actually from a dollar store. So these things for $1. It's plastic. I shred it and make these things. And I use it to make the sound of the grass. I walk on it and it sounds very nice. And some sand. Rocks over here. This is a big wood surface. We're doing big boats or old houses. And puddle. Doing a little. Sorry, it's dark. Doing puddles. The deck surface. front porch of the house or the deck surface. Over here we do car stuff, car seat, car doors. Sometimes when we don't need to bring a car in, if it's a little bit of a car, we just use these car parts for it. Or of course we bang them around too. This is a creaky horse saddle. Stuff like that. It's our microphone. This is where I stand. So I would stand in front of the microphone, watch the screen, and perform each sound effect. And the big scary door. Check this out. Awesome. So and over there is where I do all kinds of kitchen kind of stuff. A hot plate, all kinds of plates. There, cutleries in there, cups and glasses, and we use quite a bit of food items too. There's some rigatonis, fridge. There's much in the fridge. There's actually a sink in there. This is where we store the bathroom sink. That's the porcelain one. That's the stainless one. Different kinds of chairs. Wooden chairs, old creaky chairs, church pew, different kinds of office chairs, stuff like that. Well, it's a big mess. I wasn't ready for making a video today, so it's a big mess, but all kinds of sounds get made in here. I feel quite lucky to be able to work at such a wonderful office every day, although it's a big mess in here today. As the name of the studio says, we spend quite a bit of time recording footsteps. That explains all these shoes. Do quite a bit of cutlery, plates, eating sound and stuff. Just cutlery hitting the plates and stuff. And tonight's dinner was of course a glove. I just placed that to keep the plates from sounding empty. If it's empty, it sounds empty. So when you place it, sounds full. And I keep a little piece of rubber to keep the fork from ringing too much. Just a little tricks. And one of my favorite things, old things are nice. Like, I don't know, maybe some young viewers may not know what this is. This is a telephone. So, receiver up and down. These old things are very, very nice. Foley is often about these little details. And for example, even for a simple thing like a pen down, rather than just putting it down on the desk like that, you can make it more badump, or add a little roll and make it a little more interesting. Same with a cup, rather than just straight down. You can add a little shape to it and make it a little more interesting for a bottle down or up, rather than just up, just a straight up and down. If it's another bottle, it can be a little bit more fun. Just a little tiny trick to make a little detail, make it come alive. Some of the movies we worked on. Mary Poppins.
Hi everyone. Thank you for checking in. I'm sitting here at the Footsteps Foley studio in Ontario, Canada. And so yeah, this is a secret of sound and cinema. And thank you for watching the video. And I apologize about the mess, and that's one dirty studio. I wasn't quite ready for making a video 2 days ago. So after a day of work, I had to quickly put that together. So that's my excuse. But it's not usually much better. It's a messy place, and it's a little bit better today. So you can see the floors and a bunch of props. And in the video, I will talk very little, and then because I want questions. But in the video, I missed a few things. I thought of a few more props that I wanted to show you. So let me go through that quickly. One of them is this thing. It's it looks like this. It's a rolled up phone book, and it's very handy for kicks and punches and body falls, for big action movies, fight scenes. So I don't have to use my own body. It usually goes with that big heavy bag in the back. Actually, I can just let me. So it goes with that. And another thing is a feather duster for doing birds. Again, it's we use this a lot. Oh yeah, one more thing. I'm gonna change the camera angle. It's this thing. But you've never seen a skateboard like that. So when we do the sound of the skateboard, so that's how you do the sound of the skateboard. So very quickly, why do we do all this? What is Foley for? Foley takes its name from Jack Foley. He was the radio drama sound effect guy back in the early 1900s. And he would make sound effects. He used to make sound effects for the radio drama, but he is credited for adopting that to movies of course, back then movies are silent. So he said, why not add sound to the movies? So today, thanks to him, we have sound for movies, lots and lots of sound. And Foley is one small part of soundtracks in a movie. And we specialize, there, of course, dialogue, there's music, and there's like ambience, and there's effects, lots and lots of sound effects. And Foley specializes in the type of sounds that need to be custom performed by a person. And because it's really one of those things that's, yeah, you can make it on the computer, but it's a little bit nicer if a person makes it. It's that kind of thing. And it adds a real human touch and relatability. That's really, for me, that's like a main essence of Foley, to make it relatable for you, familiar for the viewers, by adding this everyday life sound, such as footsteps or clothing movements, the touches, and the sound in a kitchen, sound in an office, sound in a restaurant, things like that. And that's really the biggest role of Foley. So it's not a superstar sound effect. It's not a big flashy sound effects by any means, but it adds that little detail and the little familiar feel to everything. And so for a few reasons, Foley gets done in a film. One is for making foreign version of the film. So, for example, in a Hollywood movie nowadays gets distributed in different countries around the world, and in some countries they make a foreign dubbed version of the film. For example, a German version. So, German voice actor would re-perform the dialogue, and everything else has to be re-performed. All the other sound effects need to be re-recorded to go with the dialogue. So that's one purpose, to make the foreign version of the film. And another one is a complete replacement of the sound, or adding the sound that didn't exist on location. For example, in a big sci-fi movie, and actors are inside a cave, but the cave is actually made is a set. So when actors walk on it, it sounds like a plywood and a styrofoam. So we would replace those footsteps with wet, gritty rock and add the water drips and that. And we add the sound, we change the sound, or we add the sound that didn't exist on location or on the set. And another reason would be, for example, they're outside shooting a battle scene, the Battle of 1812, and actors gave a great performance. It looked great, bunch of people, but then helicopter flies by, or there's a highway nearby and they can hear the background traffic. So there are some things that's beyond the control of the location recordist, and then that sound becomes unusable. So again, it has to be stripped, and we have to re-record the sound completely. So that's another purpose of Foley. But of course, all of that is to improve the quality, to make the sound better and more fun, more interesting, or adding the drama to it. That is a big purpose, of course. And but for me, like I said before, to adding the everyday type of sound is really what Foley is about for me, and I really enjoyed that because even in a like the kitchen sound of food, eating, cooking, stuff like that. Even in a sci-fi movie where the big monster's walking through a forest, by adding the twig breaks and the leaves rustle, stuff like that, those sounds that you can relate, by adding those sounds, you can describe the size of the monster, like things like that. of course, action movies and comedies and horror films. Those are fun too. But I really enjoyed the recreation of daily sound, familiar sound, a relatable sound. That's what Foley's really about for me. And so, do I take questions? Will I hear the questions? First question. Oh yeah, I can give up. Yeah. Oh, what were some of the particularly interesting projects you have worked on? Yes, there's some, lots of movies, of course, were interesting. In the recent memories, we worked on the movie called The Lighthouse. It was last year, directed by Robert Eggers. It's about these two guys at lighthouse keepers back in 1930s or something, on this island, and it's black and white art film, and it had a real stylized look to it, and just basically these two guys is all you see throughout the film, and they go there, they work every day, creaky floors, squeaky bed, they shovel charcoal into the furnace, and they slowly go insane. So it's not a family movie, so don't watch with your kids. But it was really unique, and it was a lot of fun to work on, and that's one of them. And as a family-friendly movie, Mary Poppins Returns comes to mind. That film like that is always fun. It's kind of feels like working to animated film, and so it had many, of course, footsteps and all that. But it took place. It had old-fashioned furnitures and old-fashioned house, and of course, Mary Poppins has that bag that things comes out of magically, bathtub, and then they go swimming underwater, singing and dancing underwater, gold coins and fish swimming by and stuff like that. That was fun too. And a couple of years ago was the Blade Runner 2049. Movies like that. That was a big Hollywood film that really wanted to sound organic. So we got to do a lot of fun stuff for that. And movies like that in recent years were lots of fun. What is the thought process to find sounds for things not purely based on reality, like with sci-fi or fantasy movies? What do you think performing footsteps takes new artists longer? Performing footsteps takes new artists longer time to learn. Why do you think? Okay. So first question, what is the thought process? I wonder if I can. In the video, I forgot to go down to the props room. So if I could maybe show you. So I don't know if you're seeing that. I think you're seeing that. Yeah. Well, in the props room, when I go down to the props room looking for a sound, I'm looking for a sound, and I'm not looking for an object really. So at that point, I don't really know what I'm grabbing. So I have a sound. A sound pops into my head, and I walk through our props space looking for the sound. So and you have to think of making things real and natural as well, but it's got to be with a little bit of a spice of fun, so to speak. So I'm looking for the sound, to make it a little bit more interesting is what I'm thinking. And looking for fun sound is basically what goes through my mind as I'm looking for props, as I'm looking for sound. Why do you think performing footsteps takes new artists to longer time? Footsteps is hard. Footsteps is the hardest sound that we can, because footsteps is a walk is a series of sound effects. dot, 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 dot. It's a series of sound effects, and each one of them has to sound nice. It can't interfere with the dialogue. It can't interfere with the music, but it's always there under the dialogue. But it can't interrupt the music, or you can't distract the audience from listening to the dialogue. So Footsteps is hard. If you can do a good set of walk, you made it as a Foley artist. So it's very difficult. It by far the hardest thing to learn to do right. How did you enter this specific field of art? I did. How did you step into this job? I literally stumbled across it. I did go to film school, but I wasn't particularly, I didn't think I was going to go into sound. But then one of the places I visited, along with other film-related jobs, I came to a sound stage, and I happened to see a Foley artist, Andy Malcolm, performing, and that's it. That was like love at first sight. This is what I want to do, and then I begged to beg him to train me. Like I want to do this, and it worked out for me. So I actually stumbled across it. Do you also work for the game industry? We have done games, but the game we've done nowadays, those spectacular games, role-playing games, have the cinematic parts, like movies attached to it. Like we've done that part, and we haven't though. We'd love to. They're a new genre of a fun thing to Foley to. And what was the most challenging sound you had to create? Yes, the very difficult. I remember this documentary film about fish and underwater creatures, and there's this shot with a school of squid swimming like this, and it was literally millions of squids. And with a documentary about fish, if you're not careful, we could just do a water sound from the beginning to end, but that's a bit boring. Again, we want to make it more interesting. So I wanted to shape the water. Again, shaping the sound is the key. So I wanted to add some elements to it. So I went to the store, bought a squid, and wiggled it in a bucket of water. It's just the water sound. So I went back to the store and I brought back an octopus and wiggled it around, and it sounded like a bucket of water. So, and then we tried, spent hours looking for a good sound. And in the end, I used a half-cut cantaloupe melon, kind of like the watermelon. Cut it in half, stuck my hand in, and squished it like that. And it added a not just water sound, but it's like water with flesh attached to it, and I could shape it, and it made a really interesting water sound with like creature moving and a little bit of bubbling and squeaking. And so that's an example of a great sound can come from the strangest place that you don't think of. So that's really one of the fun things about this job. And of course, Footsteps is hard. It's always hard. I'm still learning it. I heard that fruits are often used for sound effects in horror movies. Yes, is this true? It is true. In a video, I did the celery, grapefruits, pasta, stuff like that. That's we use that a lot. And we did eating scenes as well. So quite a bit of food items get used. And for horror movies, yeah, that's another genre of films that are a lot of fun to Foley. And yes, a lot of fruits gets used for horror films. That is true. Do you also create sounds for monster animal sounds? And if yes, how are they done? We don't normally do like the vocal things. We don't do the voices, but footsteps, body movements. Again, it depends on what kind of monster it is. Is it a slimy thing, or it's a big and heavy thing, or it's a small, fast-moving thing. We've done claws, different kind of claws. You saw the dog gloves. We would replace that with nails and screws, and we've done claws like that. Or big wings. I've wetted a whole leather jacket and done like dragon wing flaps, big monster footsteps, and scale movements. Again, like fruits and vegetables come in handy for things like that. Organic, fruits and vegetables are really good to add that organic texture to things. Again, to make it relatable. So familiar, relatable is the thing. So yeah, doing monster sounds can be challenging, but also lots of fun. How do you go about making a sound you've never done before? That's another fun, actually. Yeah, that's all ideas. Every day there's a challenge, and every day you have to come up with ideas, and every day is a learning process. And it's also what's great about this job too, that it's every film is different, every scene is different, so there's always something that I've never done before, like every day. And so I do a lot of research as well, like shoes and clothing from the 15th century, and animals that I've never seen. So I do a lot of research and creativity, ideas. Yeah, we use stuff like that. That's how that's also a lot of fun. And is that about it for now for questions? Okay. How are we with the time? We're good. So yeah, I had just reminded me, I have some pictures. I was mentioning some projects earlier. I can show you some pictures of things like that. So this was for a film called All Is Lost, about a guy drifting on a rescue raft in the middle of the ocean. At one point, he falls into the ocean and he's drowning, and that's me doing the vocal, the screaming in water. Sometimes we do something like that too. I said we don't do vocals very much, but this was requested, so that's me sticking my head in a bucket of water. And we normally record everything in our studio, where in a very controlled environment where it's soundproof and we have everything. But sometimes we go outside as requested. And this was during Blade Runner 2049. The flying vehicle crashing sequence was, they wanted to, that's a big sound effect moment, but they wanted a lot of Foley sound effects as well for that particular scene. And we went to a rec yard in the neighborhood, and we actually asked the operator to drop a car. And he was really into it. He really got into it. Do you want again? Do you want again? Do you want to hire? And it was a lot of work, but it was a fun day at the rec yard. So that's me. the guy said, well, can I go smash some glass? And he says, oh, go nuts. And I went smashed all the windows in those cars, which was fun. But it turns out no glass breaks in that film. So we didn't get to use it, but it was a lot of fun. And scratching the car. This was in a nearby community center to record a Footsteps with lots and lots of room attached to it. Yeah, that was again for Blade Runner, I believe. Recording. This. We're not recording the engine sound. We're actually trying to. I'm trying to shake the bulldozer, so we're trying to get the spring to squeak. That's what I'm doing. So I did crazy things. Yeah, those are some of the pictures that I have. So so today, in a normal workshop setup, I would have a short film, and I really like my workshop to be about everybody actually making the sound. So, but in this setup, I really wish that I could be, or everybody could be here so we can make the sound and have lots of fun together. But so this situation doesn't allow it, unfortunately. But I do have the film, and I took some shots from the film that I use in my workshop, and it's a 2-minute clip. And I would love you guys. I believe it's being posted on Nippon Connection Film Facebook page. So so I would love you guys to try making the sound for it, and I would love to hear what you come up with. And in it, if I may explain it a little bit, and so in it you see someone walking in the snow and someone coming through a door. You don't see the door, but there's a spot for it where you can add this door sound. And footsteps, of course, but if you look, the person is not human. Could be, but might not be. So again, footsteps you can get creative with that, and things get put down, and he captures a ball, and it's a creature. It's some kind of creature that can make a sound, and he goes to cook goopy things in the pot, and he does that and stirs up a pot, and this little ball creature escapes, and it goes behind the ceiling, and it's running around behind the ceiling. You don't see it, you only hear it. So you can come up with a sound for it. It might grow little legs. I don't know. You don't see it. So you gotta get creative with the sound. And then it ends up, actually this person decides to chase it with this horn. I don't know what he or she was gonna do with it, but it seems to make a sound. So again, be creative with it. And then this thing is in the ceiling and ends up dropping from the ceiling into the pot of breakfast that he or she was making. And so plop. So some gooey sound, nice gooey sound there. So you see things like that. And I think in the video I mentioned how I use cornstarch for the snow, but cornstarch can be messy. So try not to make too much mess next. You might want to take this outside. I don't know. But like bed sheet might work. Some kind of plastic bag or something like that, walking on it might work. Again, like be creative. If you don't have it, just make one. And please be safe. If you're trying this at home, don't try anything dangerous, nothing sharp or too heavy. Just use what you have and be safe and have fun. please. Yes. Well, another question came up. So, so to wrap up the video clip, I think it's being put up on Nippon Connection Facebook page for you to record to. Just use your computer and use your built-in microphone. It doesn't need to be high quality. You just go and have fun. And I would love to see what you guys come up with. Okay. And another question, how big is your team? Usually 3 people in the room. So there's a mixer that presses the record button, and he or she will be controlling the microphone. Close mic, one mic sits very close to what I'm doing, and another mic and far away from me. Another mic like that away from me. So one mic is like really close to me, and one mic far. By mixer controlling the distance balance between the mics, that creates the room, the atmosphere. And another person on the computer organizing and editing the sound effects that gets recorded onto the computer, Pro Tools operator. And very, for example, like when I did all those dance steps in Mary Poppins Returns and The Greatest Showman, I can't take all the credit for amazing dance steps being in sync with the music. It's actually mostly the person who's editing on the computer. I have to admit, because I can't take the credit. So I'm an okay dancer, but I can't take all the credits. So that person, and then myself in front of the microphone doing all kinds of crazy things. What movie projects are you working on at the moment, and what comes out next with your sound? Right now, we're working on, I can't tell you. I can, but then I must kill you, but I can't, so I can't tell you. But soon, or it's out, I think, Mrs. America. It's a series on, I forget where it's playing, but with Kate Blanchett, wonderful series, was a lot of fun. And that's something that we've recently finished. That was quite busy. So check that out. Any movies? It was a bit while ago, but Marriage Story on Netflix. What else? Ford v Ferrari. I don't know. That's out on video already. But movies like that. That was a movie about a race car. So again, Foley does not play a big part in it, but it's just, and it plays that familiar sounds, that relatable part of it, and in this one particular scene where 2 guys are fighting on the sidewalk, we had fun with that scene. That's 2 racers, but they start pushing each other, and it's a comical scene. One guy has a bag of groceries, and they start hitting each other with a loaf of bread and things like that. That was so even a car with race cars, we cover things like that, and it's quite symbolic of what we do, I think. Where can we follow your work? We do have a website, Footsteps website. We post what we've worked on. We're not super keen on updating it, but yeah, we do have a website. So I think we covered everything. I think we're coming up to a good time. If there's no more questions. So, is that about it? I think. Oh, another question came up. Did you get to work with Gary Wrightstorm and Richard Hims on All Is Lost? Yes. Yes, we work very closely with sound supervisors and sound editors. it is quite amazing that there's so many components to just creating soundtracks to one movie, and all these people are in different places in the world, and it's such a team effort, and in the final product, when all these components, all these elements come together and then they work together, the satisfaction is through the roof, and it's quite miraculous. And if you go watch a movie, at the end you see all those names, thousands of names come up, and there are more people that don't even get their names mentioned on the credit, and there's so many people making so many efforts, just even in the sound post-production sound team. It's quite amazing to have all these people working together to create one thing. It's an amazing feeling. How was it working with? It's always great to work with sound editors, sound supervisors that care so much about the sound, and we give lots of care to it because we love doing it. But ultimately, we're doing it so film fans, we're all film fans, so and we want to make people smile, and we want to please people. That's our ultimate goal. And so it's always great to work with great sound editors that care about the sound. How can a newcomer get into Foley work? Find a Foley studio and knock on their doors. and we'll see how good your door knocks are. Yeah, we'll judge you by that. Is making sounds your dream job? Yes. Yeah, and it still continues to be. Last question. What kind of sounds do you enjoy making? What is the most fun? These are all good questions, by the way. Thank you. Thank you for the interest. Yes, this probably will be the last question. What kind of sounds do I enjoy? My absolute favorite, Footsteps is hard, but it's always challenging, and it's very rewarding to get it right. And of course, also water sound. I love doing the water. I can just play in the water all afternoon. Water can be shaped into billion different shapes. It has so many faces, so many textures, and I just don't get bored with the sound of water. Whenever I get to do water, I'm excited because water just can be shaped into every shape, and it's so much fun. And so water is my favorite. And another favorite of mine is actually all the kitchen sound. Kitchen has water, fire, metal, wood, ceramic, and chairs and tables, footsteps, eating, cutlery sounds, and kitchen has everything. And when you place those different kinds of sounds in one scene, the dynamics of the sound is beautiful. It's like a music, and so I love kitchen sounds as well. Great, good questions. Thank you. Okay, all right. So that's it from me from Canada. And so check out the little short movie on the Facebook page, and have fun. Oh, before I go, I wanted to thank everyone for coming and clicking and checking us out, and thank you. And I hope to see you again somewhere. And I would like to thank everyone at Nippon Connection. I was there last year at the festival, and I had a great fun. And this year with the pandemic, I thought, oh, so this isn't going to happen this year. But people at Nippon Connection never gave up, not one day. They were determined to make this happen, and they searched for a way to do it, and they made it happen. Here we are. It's happened, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so impressed with the determination of all the staff members at Nippon Connection. And thank you for having me. Congratulations on your wonderful 20 years, and thank you for having me. And thank you everyone for tuning in today. See you again.